The penultimate round of the Red Funnel Cowes Keelboat Championship was hosted by the Royal Yacht Squadron this weekend. On Saturday, a flat calm in the morning saw a double AP hoisted at the squadron, signalling the crews to stay ashore. But eventually, a breath of wind allowed the squadron to send the fleets afloat for a start to the east of the Brambles Bank. Only 2 fleets turned out for racing on Saturday. The Darings had a healthy 15-boat turnout, but the Dragons could only muster 3 boats for their racing. The wind was only force 2 from the west-southwest for the first start of the day, and the committee wisely set a short windward-leeward course. The Darings were first away, and on the first beat, the boats that stayed left found more pressure and a left-hand shift. Darling led at the end of the first round, ahead of Defender, with Dolphin lying third. Dauntless, so often the boat to beat in this fleet, was lying ninth at this stage. The top 3 held their lead to the finish, while behind them there was some place changing, and Dauntless showed her speed to climb to 5th. The wind increased for the second race, and the sun came out to give great sailing conditions. At the start, the Daring fleet pushed the line hard, with several caught over, including Double Knot, who failed to answer the recall. Dauntless led the fleet around the windward mark and was also leading as they approached it for the second time. She wasn't having it all her own way though, as Defender was threatening her lead. As the two approached the windward mark for the second time, Dauntless was on starboard, but not laying the mark. Defender approached on port and couldn't pass clear ahead, so she tacked to leeward rather than passing astern. This was a mistake, as it allowed Dauntless to hold her past the ley line before tacking, ensuring that Dauntless led around the top mark. Down the run, Dauntless went right while Defender went left. At the leeward mark for the last time, Defender had grabbed the lead, but Dauntless tried to dive inside at the last minute, hoping to claim water. But she was too late, and she was forced to take penalty turns as 4 other boats sailed past, dropping her to 6th at the finish. Defender sailed away to take the winner's gun, with Doublet coming in second and Darling third. Only 3 Dragons came out to play, and they didn't seem keen on close quarters racing. Up the first beat, each went its own way, with 1 going left, 1 right and 1 up the middle. At the end of the first round, Owen Pay's Njord had a good lead from Kedron, with Supremacy lying third. Njord led to the finish, and while Supremacy got through Kedron to cross the line second, she was subsequently disqualified for not going through the start-finish line at the end of the first round. Njord also won the second race, but this time it was Supremacy who took second, with Kedron third. Sunday brought more wind, with a force 4 to 5 from the south-southwest under gloomy skies. 12 Darings started the first race, with the pin end favoured. Some boats were too eager, but Defender answered the recall, while Demos and Dido were both disqualified. Dashing was first around the top mark, and she still led at the bottom mark from Doublet and Defiant. Although Doublet kept the pressure on, Dashing held her lead to the finish, with Doublet taking second and Audax moving up through the fleet to claim the third spot. At the second start, it was Defender which won the favoured pin end and led the fleet to the left of the beat. As the fleet approached the windward mark, the wind bent left, to lift those on port tack up to the mark and to punish those who had either gone too far left or had taken the right of middle option. Defiant led around the mark ahead of Defender and Dynamite, with the rest of the fleet in close pursuit. At the windward mark second time round, the order of the top three remained the same, but they'd opened up quite a gap to Audax, which had climbed from 7th to claim 4th place. At the leeward mark, Defiant still led Defender, but it was close, while Dynamite in 3rd had lost ground and was no longer in contention for the top spot. Up the final beat to the finish, Defiant covered Defender tack for tack to take a well-earned win. Dynamite took 3rd and Audax was 4th. The same 3 dragons came to the line on Sunday. At the end of the first round of the day's first race, it was Kedron which led ahead of Supremacy, with Njord in 3rd. By the second leeward mark it was Supremacy which had taken the lead, with Njord moving up to 2nd and Kedron dropping to 3rd, positions which remained unchanged at the finish. In the second race, Supremacy again led, with Njord 2nd and Kedron bringing up the rear. On the second run, Njord closed on Supremacy and challenged for the lead, and eventually the pressure proved too much. Njord took the race win, with Supremacy 2nd and Kedron 3rd. The final weekend of a Red Funnel series will be run by the Royal Corinthian Yacht Club on 6th and 7th of October.